Okay, guys, so we are ready to start, and I am excited to have everyone here with us. I am looking forward to this session. My name is Faith Moyosore Agbola, and I I'm basically AFM stories, obviously, but I'm very much passionate about youth development, about helping people to be all that they can be, basically making success stories out of people by advising and connecting them to diverse opportunities. So for now, there's a lot of focus on scholarships, and we'll see how we can expand that. So basically, this session is called Scholars Live, and I bring amazing scholars like the pretty AD we can see on our screen who came here for business. Like, guys, can't you even see the profs? Like, am I the only one that is ready to learn and just get all this information? Because what? We are ready for you, man. Anyways, guys, so today we're going to be talking about the Fulbright scholarship and how you can win the Fulbright scholarship. Our special guest here won the Fulbright scholarship, and it's a fully funded scholarship to teach and study in the USA. We're finding out more about what exactly is, what it entails, and her journey to actually winning the scholarship. So, without further ado, the first question I'm going to ask you is, tell us about yourself. Like, we're so excited to know more about you. What are you about? What do you do? Just a brief introduction.
Hey, hello. I'm sorry, it looks like I keep glaring at the camera. It's I'm using my phone, which is, and I really can't. I'm not sure about the coverage, I know, but it's okay. It's good. So my name is Feyi. My name is actually Oluwafe Shweto, but of course, for ease of pronunciation, I prefer to be called Feyi Shweto. And I'm really excited to be here today. Like, what? What? I'm excited to be here today. All right. So, I think in describing myself, I'm first a teacher, and teacher could mean anything. Like, it's a lot of things. I'm a teacher. I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about the educational system in Nigeria and developing the educational system in Nigeria. I'm a Fulbright scholar. I won a Fulbright grant.
No. Yeah, you just dropped that. Like, please say it with your full chest. Let's feel the energy. Okay.
Well, yes. So I'm also an entertainer in the sense that I act, and I sing. I play the guitar. I do a little bit of this and that in that scope. But basically, what you should know about me is I'm passionate about teaching. I'm passionate about the educational system and improving the educational system in Nigeria, curriculum development, education development, and things like that. Yes.
Wow, you sound like a lot. Like, we are honored to be in the same space with you, man. Anyway, so we're gonna go straight right into it. The first question I'd like to ask you is, where were you 3 years ago, and did you think that you would be currently studying and teaching, through the Fulbright scholarship?
Teaching and studying, actually. 3 years ago, so I'm trying to cast my mind back to 2018. Okay, so 3 years ago, I was a teacher. Yes. 3 years ago, I was a teacher in a secondary school because, after a while, I had taught, after my youth service, national youth service, right? I decided I wanted to teach some more because I did that during my youth service. I felt like I was trying to develop and discover myself, right? I was getting to know who I am and all of that. So yes, I really just wanted to test that waters and know that was what I really wanted to do. So yes, I was teaching in a secondary school. That should be Foursquare International Secondary School. I was doing all I can to, help young people.
Did you know that you were going to be on a scholarship? Were you thinking?
Did I know?
Scholarship.
I probably did. I didn't know I was 100%, but I was looking forward to it at that time. So I already knew about the Fulbright scholarship at that time. So I was looking forward to it. Okay. I didn't know I was going to get it 100%, and to be sincere, I really thought that maybe I wouldn't qualify. I wouldn't
Yeah,
I wouldn't make the cut. I mean, why
many
me?
people think that, like, we're even getting to those questions because a lot of people, once they hear scholarships, they are like,
Mhm.
a special type of people, you have to be
Mm,
extraordinary.
mm.
Obviously, everybody's extraordinary in their own right, but I just feel like we've all been there though, so I really get it. That's nice to know. So the second question is, how does it feel like to be a Fulbright scholar? And what would you say are the most amazing benefits of the scholarship? Like, why should anybody consider being a Fulbright scholar?
So what does it feel
Mm-hmm.
to especially be a Fulbright language teaching assistant? I think it feels like a lot of responsibility first. Like that's it for me. I think it feels like a lot of responsibility. Like there's a lot that I feel like to whom much is given, much is expected, and it's even beyond what is expected of me. It's also what I expect of myself. Like I feel like now there's nothing stopping you. Like that's how I feel. Like now you own the world, that kind of thing. So and I feel like it's a lot of responsibility for me. I also feel like it's an avenue to do everything that I have always dreamt. Not everything, of course. I mean, something that I've not been able to do. Like it empowers me, and I think one of the greatest benefits of being a Fulbright scholar is the fact that first off, you get to, even though maybe we'll get to that later, even though
it.
Oh, so even though I didn't travel last year because of COVID and all of that, but one of the benefits that you get to travel out of the country, which is really, really good, and I mean, it helps your exposure. You are exposed to different things. You get to know about the United States and the educational system in the United States, and you also get to sharpen your knowledge about teaching and studying, basically, because that is what my grant is all about. That was what my grant was all about. It's about teaching and also learning how to do different things, right? So it just exposes you. Like I think that's one of the benefits, and also you also get to career-wise, you also get to have opportunities, like different opportunities. Like I know a lot of Fulbright scholars that, based on the fact that they were teaching assistants, or probably they were assisting in some kind of respect, they got graduate study, and then they are able to also assist teaching in that respect. So yeah. But basically,
and then obviously, you're missing out the fully funded travel, the stipend.
I feel like you were going to ask me specifically for those things.
Yes,
okay,
like
so
what the scholarship gives you, basically. That's what I'm trying to find. Okay. You're just saying all the serious parts. I'm talking about the juicy parts.
The juicy part.
Yes,
see, I'm a serious person. You need to know that. We
heard the serious parts. What are the juicy benefits?
Yes. So you get to have an orientation with different scholars from everywhere in the world, like different places in the world, depending on where places where their languages are needed, something like that. And then after which you get to have like a fully funded travel, like your traveling is fully funded, absolutely fully funded to the United States to teach, and then you also be allowed to take courses while you teach that in the United. You'll be posted to a school, right, where you get to teach, and it's all fully funded, and you'll be getting a stipend. Now this stipend is varied, right? So it depends on the university that you were posted in and how the living expenses is in that area. So for someone, should I even give details? Well, for someone like me, that was okay. Let me personalize it.
You can give us a range, basically.
Yes. Okay. So stipend could range from $1,800, $1,300 to $1,800 per month.
Well, that's
$1,300 to $1,800 per month.
Okay.
And you also get travel allowance, you get book allowance, you get health benefits, and all those things. It's just like a whole package. Like you are covered basically. You are absolutely covered.
Yeah. Okay, am I the only one that is really excited about this and looking forward to learning? So teaching and studying isn't necessarily the first thing that a lot of people think about. So when people think about scholarships, they're like, oh yeah, I want to go and study free. People are already saying, let's apply sharp. I want to study free. I just want to study on, just live my best life. But you're teaching and you're studying. What would you say that people should get ready for if they want to do this scholarship? What's the beauty about it? Because I'm sure it might sound difficult because you keep saying responsibilities, but I'm sure there are beautiful things about it. Like you're a Nigerian teaching in the USA. How is that experience like? And learning as well. How is that experience like?
The challenge for me and talking about that is the fact that I didn't
travel. Yours was different, yeah.
Mine was different. But for what I heard that a lot of people did, I didn't travel last year. But what I heard a lot of people, in fact, some of my friends that eventually traveled at the later part of last year got to, hang out with each other, and then they traveled to different places, saw different places in the US, and some of them actually even traveled out of the US. You are permitted to do that. Wow. As much as you can. You're permitted to do that. And then another thing that a lot of people did that I felt was fun, that I would have really wanted to do, was people went to different schools. So I could invite you to my school just to see the fun things in my school and see whatever. Then there's this. Then there's usually, which we did remotely and was not. We usually have like a mid-semester, like a forum, a mid-semester, whatever, that you get to travel. So Fulbright makes you travel to, I don't know where exactly, but I guess it's different at different times. And so what you do is that you meet different people, you have presentations, not serious presentations, calm down. So you have, it could be something about your country. So as Fulbright scholars, you're supposed to be like a cultural ambassador. So for instance, you can have a dance show, you can sing, you can, do any of the fun things that you want to do. So it's usually fun. From what I saw, from the videos I saw, it's usually really, 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 really.
Okay, so let's get into business. So the first thing is, how did you find out about the scholarship? Because some people are already even asking for the link. So how did you find out about the scholarship, and where can we get information about applying for the scholarship?
Okay, so I got to know about the scholarship from an alumni.
Okay.
So that was probably my final year in school. He was applying for the scholarship, and I didn't know anything about it, right? I feel like I should even tell you like what the whole thing entails, but we'll get there. I didn't know anything about it, and I felt like maybe it was not a big deal until it got it, and I saw that this guy had traveled like I'm like, hey, what's this? And another thing is, for someone like I studied English, right? And for someone like us, you study language courses, there are not many opportunities for you as such. For me to see that kind of opportunity, and then they're even buying, he's telling me that they are paying him. I'm like, hey, God of God, you tell me that this exists and this is, and at the initial, I didn't apply until like the third year after that, because of course I didn't think that I could do that. But if you really want to, there's information about it online. You can just Google Fulbright foreign language teaching assistant.
Okay.
Fulbright foreign language, and you, in fact, for you to get even more opportunities about Fulbright, just Google Fulbright, and then because there are a lot of other opportunities that are not language related, like I think they have the Humphrey, there's research. I think that one is basically research oriented and all of that. There are a lot of other opportunities, but I know about mine, the one I got.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the eligibility requirements for the one that you won?
Okay, so I think first thing is you should have teaching background or
so if you don't have any teaching experience, what do you define as teaching experience?
Okay, so you must at least know something about teaching, even if you've not taught in it. Because I know of someone or some people that got a scholarship and do not have teaching experience as such. Even if you've not taught in a formal classroom, but at least you can talk about how that you like to teach.
Okay.
And maybe you've probably held tutorials before for your friends, or maybe you know how we do these things now. It could be tutorials for your friends, it could be something for somebody, but that you must be able to, you must have that. And then you must have some kind of language background. Like, I'm talking about academic wise. So it could be English, it could be linguistics, it could be any language background as such. But you should at least just have studied something that has to do with language. And for those that have not studied something that has to do with language, basically, it's an either or thing. You could probably just also have, very great teaching background, especially language teaching background, right? Because eventually what you do is that you will be teaching your indigenous language, which is what I was trying to,
okay.
Yes. So you don't have to have taught your indigenous language before. That's not a problem. The thing is that you should at least you should at least know your indigenous language, right? So what you'll be doing is that you're teaching your indigenous language. And while you are doing that, you will have the opportunity to take courses that you want. And then part-time, it could be anything. But at least 2 of those courses must have something to do with your career development or something like that. And another one must have to do with knowledge of the United States of America. But in all, you still have like two others to take. And you can even also pay for courses if you are so passionate and you really still want to take a course. Because what you will get is you will be enrolled as a graduate student in the university.
Okay.
So I was posted to Brown University. I might delve into something else, God. I was posted to Brown University, and I was enrolled as a graduate student at Brown and as an instructor, right? So I'm first an instructor. Let me go there. Please ask your next question. Am I
going actually? Because I'm actually really I'm learning something new about this. So this seems like unique in its own right. It's a little different from the scholarships I'm used to. So obviously I'm just learning about the fact that, so it seems like the major focus is basically an opportunity for you to travel to the USA fully funded to teach your indigenous language courses and also learn short courses according to your preferences, and you also get monthly stipends, and basically it's an experience. So that sounds really cool actually, especially for people that are passionate about teaching, or people that just want an experience to travel, or people that want to be able to learn.
Beyond that, actually,
a question around the fact that are you studying about the fact that you studying a master's degree, because I think I saw that question. So I feel like that's very important, because typically most of the people I interview is most people that are maybe doing a master's degree or PhD or something. So this seems a little different. So is it more like short courses?
Yes, it is. They are short courses. It's not a master's degree. So most of the people that apply for this scholarship are professionals. Most of them are professionals actually. Some of them have, done their master's. Some of them are probably
if you don't have a master's, does it affect you though?
No. I got a scholarship. I didn't have a master's when I got a scholarship, so it doesn't affect you in any way. No, it doesn't. Yeah, I was going to mention the other time that, so while you are doing this course, because what you are traveling for really is to be an exchange visitor, right? The entire crux of the whole thing is for you to exchange your own culture with that of the US culture. So they get to know about the whatever culture you are bringing into the US. And this is different. This is Yoruba, this is Hausa, this is people from Turkey, this is Swedish people, like people from all over the world. And so what you get to also do is that you get to go to different places as you choose and as you please. You can you can decide to maybe have like a showcase of your language, for instance, or of your culture. It could be a dance of your culture, something like that. And then just bring people and then try to create interest for that particular, language and culture. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds exciting for people that have a passion for. So what kind of courses did you learn though? I'm curious about that as well.
Okay, that's for me, right? I did a German course, and that was because I really wanted to learn German. I picked the German course, and at some point I picked a teaching course, the craft of teaching, and that's still me, right? Then the other two courses I picked were on knowledge of United States of America. I mean, you could decide to pick different courses as you please or as you choose, but those were my own preference.
But what are the other alternatives for people that have like other interests?
Depending on the university that you are in, like there are a lot of courses that just like, okay, so for instance,
for the kind of course that you can study,
that you can pick, no.
Okay.
So except for like two, at some point you have to at some point do one course that talks or that has to do with the knowledge of America, and another course that is has to do with your own career development, right? But aside that, you can take any other course that you please, like any other, and there are a lot of courses.
Okay, so the eligibility criteria, you need to have a language background or a language that you can teach.
Sorry, can you continue?
I just want to go over the eligibility criteria before we move on to the next thing. So you need to have a language background. Is that the first eligibility criteria?
Yes, you need to have a language background.
So either your degree or an experience.
Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be either an academic degree or an experience, an ability to teach something, and then teaching experience, whether professionally or as simple as a tutorial or a master class. Okay, and are there any academic requirements? So maybe first class, 2-1, third class, or
now you'll be asked to upload your, what do we call it? Okay. Your
transcript and certificates.
Your transcripts and certificates and all of that. I'm not sure if it holds, because I know of people that have, or not a lot, right? I know of someone that probably has a 2-2 that got the scholarship, but most people that I know probably have a 2-1 and above, right? But so I think it matters, but it's not the crux of anything. I mean, there are a lot of other things.
So what are these other things aside from this background and the grades? What are the other things?
I run through the process. Do you want to run through the process?
Yeah, you could run through the process actually. I wanted to do the eligibility and then the process, but if it's intertwined, we can do that as well.
Okay, so the thing is, after you get to do an application, right? And in this application, you write 3 essays.
Okay.
After which, if you are shortlisted for the after you've written 3 essays,
what are
you
the
have
essays about?
Okay, you have 3 essays. One is about your career development or your career interest. So you write an essay about the things that you are passionate about, and you need to be able to convince them that you're not plastic.
How
and that
to convince them that we're not plastic? Anything honest, like this, you have to explain to us, because we have not won the scholarship. You are the one that has won it, so you have to look at us like
to be honest.
That's the truth, actually. Okay.
I guess. So I think it first comes with being absolutely sincere. Like, don't try to be anyone else. Don't just really, really write what you are passionate about, like what you really, really love to do. And of course, don't overlook the grammatical errors. You know what grammatical errors do now? They are like a big turn off for whoever is reading whatever you have written. So write. Make sure you are writing it in a way that is endearing, in a way that is, maybe you can start with a story about something that triggered your passion. Of course, that is my own style of writing. I usually always start with maybe a story of how I, got wooed by my passion, something like that. And you go from there to talk about instances of where you displayed this passion, or where you display, or how you have actually grown, how you have recorded growth in your career and the things that you have done. And please, it doesn't have to be big things. Like, it really doesn't have to be big. For instance, I talked about how I was a department tutor at Obafemi Awolowo University, right? And I talked about how I had this person I tutored, and that eventually became the best graduating student in the department.
That's not a small thing.
It's actually,
I mean, it's just me. That's not a small thing. That's huge. You tutor someone that became really. Who will not give you the scholarship? Please, other organizations. Thank you. For people that like us that have not taught best graduating students.
No. Okay. The other thing, I was also going to say that for my I also probably talked about, because I acted in a movie and it was a Yoruba movie. It might seem irrelevant, right? But someone told me that
Yoruba. Okay.
Sorry.
You wanted to teach Yoruba language, right?
Yes. Okay. I acted in a movie and it was a Yoruba movie, and then I added this, that I acted in a Yoruba movie. At some point, and it was maybe a Kunle Afolayan movie, and maybe that probably pulled some weight. Do you see? So I'm just saying, any little thing that you have written that you think that you have done, that you think can be relevant and that can make anybody think that you are taking steps in your career. Those things. Don't get intimidated by anything, whatever it is. Now you are saying, wow, I felt it was really small. I felt like, who cares if I tutored somebody? But any little thing. So that's about the career development essay.
Okay,
the other essay is about being a cultural ambassador. So they are asking you as a Nigerian, and they'll tell you, okay, as a Fulbrighter, or you are supposed to be a cultural ambassador. So how would you do that in the US? How would you be a cultural ambassador in the US? And that shouldn't even throw you off. And they'll ask you to do that, to write that essay by writing a speech that you can give if you are probably invited to a place.
So how do we write that? Thank you.
Okay, so you can just decide to, the speech is, pick a particular topic. Now that's one thing I think really, really helps out. Pick a particular focus in your culture that you want to talk about. It could be dressing, for instance. It could be proverbs in your culture, right? It could be, let's say, the music. Just make sure that you're not just jumping everywhere. Just because the essays are pretty short. They're like 5 paragraphs. They are pretty short. So maybe I wrote about Oriki. I wrote about the concept of Oriki in Yoruba land. And I just, talked about the things that Oriki does, or how Oriki is used in Yoruba land generally, how it is used. And so just pick a focus. Sometimes we do proverbs, pick a focus. And that's one of the biggest ideas that I would even give for the cultural ambassador essay. Just don't jump everywhere. Pick a focus and then try to read about it. This thing is all about research. That particular thing you want to
you just have to research it. And
for instance, this Oriki thing, there were things I didn't know about it. I just proverbs Oriki in Yoruba land, panegyrics in Yoruba land, and I got to know the things that they were used for, right? And I tried to put a little bit of personal experience or what I know about that Oriki. But in all, make sure that you are writing it in very good English, or make sure you give it to somebody to help you to read it. Because really, no matter how much of English that you know, there's always that one or two distinct blunders that will not let you rest. Give it somebody else to help you, proofread. Then the third essay is about, yes.
Okay, so the second, so I just wanted to confirm, the second essay basically is to educate them about something cultural.
Yes.
In your country. Okay.
Yes.
That sounds exciting. Yes. Were you able to present it, or because you said it's a speech that you can use? So I'm just trying to think about the longevity of it. Like, okay, whatever you write in that essay, is there a chance that you're actually going to present it, like when you eventually get into?
Now that's your choice. That's very, very personal. Because eventually, I really wish I'll get step about it. Eventually, you would have different opportunities to, showcase your culture. So you can decide to eventually talk about it. It's your decision. For instance, in my own classes, because I have a little bit of Oriki background, my grandmother used to teach us how to do all this, do Oriki for stuff, kings and all of that. So there are times in my class, students are just coming in and I'm just doing that, for instance.
That sounds really fun. There's even a question here. I feel like it's related to what you're saying. Someone says, what kind of school would you be posted to work? So is it a college, primary school, or a university?
So universities and colleges in the United States, universities and colleges. We have universities that are Fulbright partners, right? And so these universities would probably request for Fulbrighters or language teachers. Sorry, I was trying by a message. These universities would request for language teachers at different points in time. So, for instance, one of my friends got posted to Yale. I got posted to
Yale. Okay,
yes.
That's good for the CV.
Yes, actually. And there are a number of Ivy League universities that there. Brown is also an Ivy League university. I think I once saw an Harvard. Wow. Then different universities like that. But of course, these universities do not really determine your experiences. Some people even say that the less famous universities, they have more fun with the less famous universities. I don't know about that. But of course, you might want a Yale, for instance, because it's good on your CV. It's good on your CV.
Yeah, and even for other prospects, it could be like a stepping stone for even like other grad studies or PhD or another master's, or it's just obvious. I know how prestigious the Fulbright scholarship is, and then now doing it in an Ivy League school is cool as well. But however, I feel like any school really, because they wouldn't go straight to a school that doesn't make sense. Let's really think about it. So
I was going to talk about the third essay.
Yeah, the final essay. I was going to remember.
Yeah, the final essay is about teaching methodology. Now, this is where research comes in. If you don't really know, if you don't know about teaching methodology, ask questions, check online. What is the best teaching methodology for language teaching, right? See papers or things that people have written about it, of which people have actually written a lot of things about it. Try to also add your own personal ideas, which always works. Like when you think about all of these things, then add a little bit of your own juice. For instance, I added that I was going to connect students in Nigeria, since I was a teacher in Nigeria, right? So I said I was going to use a technology to connect. In fact, we didn't even know that I was going to have it remotely, right? So I was going to create like a group. I was going to create like a speaking group between my students in Nigeria and students in the US, so they get to communicate in the language. My students in Nigeria are second language speakers of English, right? My students in the United States are second language speakers of Yoruba language or foreign language speakers of Yoruba. So it's just perfect. They get to help each other, and then it was, that was me. So while you write all the audiovisual methods and probably all the other methods that you get to find and you get to understand, also add a little bit of juice, a little bit of your own.
I feel like in essay writing, and that's something I always tell people, do not follow. Obviously, you can get guidance from people essay writing, but you have to think about what is my own differentiator, what is my own key factor, what is that special thing, that special topping that I'll sprinkle to my essay that will make it glitter and make me stand out, so you have to think, because if you research and put only the things you find in your research, your chances of being innovative is quite low. You have to think for yourself. But I have to ask a very fundamental question before we move to the next thing, which is, if you don't have passion for teaching, is it a good or bad idea to apply for the scholarship? Because your goal really is just to travel abroad for that experience, to be honest. And some people are not bothered whether it's teaching, whether it's do you get, like, people just want that 1 year away to just have that experience. So I'd like to know, for someone that doesn't have a passion for teaching, is it not that they hate teaching, but you seem like all your life has been teaching for real, like, so for someone that just wants to do it for the experience and the opportunities available, especially during it and post it, do you think that can work, or they have to want to be a teacher like forever or something?
No, wanting to be a teacher forever might not be it, right? So this is what I think. I really cannot answer for them, because I was passionate about, I really liked to teach and I did it. So I know how I felt about it. So I don't know how one who is not passionate about teaching would feel about it. But yes, we feel about, but you at least have to be comfortable with teaching, because that's what you'll be doing. So you have 20 hours of doing teaching work per week, right? You have at most 20 hours of
not necessarily fine, because currently I just have 20 hours to work.
So that's what you actually have. You have 20 hours of teaching per week, and of course, teaching is not necessarily being in classroom, like grading, then teaching, then doing all this other stuff. So at least you should be comfortable with it.
Okay.
It shouldn't bother you. Teaching shouldn't bother you.
Okay, so after the essays, what is the next thing on the application?
Yeah, so after that, if you are shortlisted, you submit your essays, and if you are shortlisted, then you have to come you'll be invited for an interview.
Okay.
An interview at the US Embassy, where you just to be honest, for me, the interview was all cruise. It was just a conversation.
Give us the tips so that it will be cruise for us too.
Yeah, okay, so I would advise that for the interview, for instance, whatever language you are going there to teach, or whatever language that you have been invited to teach, learn about it, like read about it, and just be calm. Like, it's not so strict, or be calm and confident, because really you're expected to stand in front of, or probably with this whoever you're going to teach. They're not children, right? They are probably adults. I mean, and you should have some kind of confidence. They should be able to know that you are confident in your own skin. So first off, be confident. Know that it's not just convince yourself, even if you are scared, which will happen, of course. Just convince yourself that this is going to be a walk away. It's not going to be so difficult. Convince yourself and tell yourself that, and learn about the language that you're going to talk about. The interview was not so long. It was just about 15 minutes or 10. It was not so long. They just really want to, because by the time they shortlist you for the interview, you have a very strong chance of getting it. A lot of people apply, a lot of people apply, but by the time you are shortlisted for the interview, for instance, I think for my own set, I'm not sure, but I think about 11 people came for the interview, and about 8 people eventually got the scholarship. So at that particular time, they really want to know how confident you are. They really want to just know. And you would also speak that language, whatever language you are going to, because it's a foreign language teaching, whatever. So you would also teach that. You also speak that language. They can ask you things. For instance, they can ask you, what's this drum called? That's what I'm saying. You might have to read.
I mean, there's no point trying to teach something you don't understand. So whatever language you want to teach, it has to be something you can speak. So whether it's Yoruba,
of course, you have to be able to speak it.
Or how,
yes,
whatever.
Yes, you should be able to speak it.
French.
Yes.
Would they ask Nigerians to teach French too? I'm not sure.
No.
Your own language.
Yes, it should.
Okay.
Yes, it should be your own language. right? So they're asking you, what is this? Or maybe they're asking you, they give you a picture of somebody and they are just asking what is happening here. Like it's not really deep as such. No.
Okay, so the interview is 15 minutes and they ask you basically things, fun facts about the languages. Do they ask you about your essays? So questions related to the essays and things like that. Do they ask you?
But you get to write TOEFL after the essay,
There are already some questions, yes. Okay, so is that all for the application process so that I could go into other questions?
Yes.
Okay, so
after which you write TOEFL. That's not all. When you're done with the interview and then you are also shortlisted, at that particular point, if you have your TOEFL, you've written your TOEFL before then, fine, you're good.
But if you have not, you can even write it after the interview. That's nice.
Yes, and they'll pay for it. Actually, they'll pay for it.
They'll pay for it. Wow, that's
yes. They'll pay for it if you've not written it prior to that time.
That's really good, actually. That's
like
really
it will be funded, and I think you should have above 90 because I'm not sure. I'm not sure what exactly you should have, but I think you should have above 90. Just aim to have like 100, which is the goal, like over 100. It's the perfect score is 120, right?
So what if you fail it after they pay?
But really, don't fail it, I beg you. Don't fail it. Don't fail it.
It's a very important question to ask.
Yes. So there are times where people got another voucher. So you fail. Now you can't necessarily say, "Now I failed, give me another voucher." Now it's in they can decide to give you another voucher.
Yeah.
Yes, it's at their own discretion and all to give you another voucher. But of course, there are instances where another voucher was given.
Okay,
but it's still full. Do this.
There's a question.
We can do this.
I believe in you guys. Is your spouse or dependent allowed to travel with you?
So for Fulbright language teaching, this particular scholarship, your spouse is not allowed to travel with you. But I think for Humphrey, your spouse is allowed to travel with you. Now that another thing that I would really, really, really advise people to do is for Fulbright scholarship. Aside this video, right? You can also go to their website and check for other opportunities. Like it's not just one. Yes, it's not just this language. Like there are diverse opportunities. So you can also see one that really fits
who you are
perfectly. But for this, your spouse is not allowed to travel with you. Now, after the scholarship, after the 9 months of teaching and all of that, you can then apply for your master's and get a teaching assistantship that would fully fund your master's, which happens a lot of times, like a lot of Fulbright scholarships.
That's okay, good.
Like it happens a lot of times, right? Most of the times, let me say. You can now do that and then bring your spouse along.
Oh, so that's like a stepping stone, like the
exactly.
So it works. So you move from being teaching a part, and for the graduate assistantship, it doesn't have to be a language, right? It can be in something else totally.
Yes, depending on what you are studying and what they need.
Okay, you just answered what the duration of the scholarship is already. So how long does this application process take? So from applying to interview to getting selected to traveling?
Okay, so
starting.
Usually application opens 1st of January.
Okay.
And closes. It used to be April, but I think COVID scattered a lot of things, and I think for the last 2 years or last year last year was June. This year was also June. 1st of June, right? So application opens 1st of January and closes June, 1st of June. After which you wait, then they get back to you later after. Okay, so they should get back to you about September, thereabouts, September, October, if you have and after which, okay, they'll get back to you about September. Then for the interview, they'll get back to you about December, January. So you start preparing. Then I'm not talking about ranking. There's also ranking of universities. That's also another step that you get to go through. Ranking happens around February, May, so it's like a year long, really.
What's the ranking about exactly?
So if after you've done your TOEFL and you have been probably selected again, then what happens is that they send you a list of universities that are interested in having you, right? Then you rank according to your own order of preference. Most times, maybe like 8 universities, you would find the Ivy Leagues. Like for my own time, we had 2 Ivy League universities. We had Yale and we had Brown. So you just rank according to your own preference and according to the things that you have heard about the universities. Then the university as well will rank the candidates that are available. Do you understand? So if we are eight candidates, 8 people are available, they will say, they'll review your application and say, I think I prefer this. This is my most preferred. This is my more preferred. This is my preferred option. And so there's a way they do the whole thing, the matching. So your own ranking versus their own ranking, and then they eventually pick like the best fit according to your preferences, like both parties, the university and you and your own preferred option, and then you get your choice, the university choice.
Okay, that sounds exciting. I have some external questions which I'm going to ask you. So is there an age limit for the scholarship?
Well, I think it's 40. It's not usually right. Like then, is it 40? I think 30. Yeah, 30. Is it 30 or 40? I'm not sure. I think it's 30 or 40.
Website the final point of confirmation. But that means 30 is still reasonable. I've seen scholarships that the age limit is 25.
Of course, it's either 30 or 40. 30 or 40.
I feel like that's still reasonable.
But if it's 30, then it has to be Nigeria alone. If the age limit is 30, that's be Nigeria alone. Because at some point, I met the Hindi Fulbright at Brown University was above 30. So if it's 30, it's Nigeria alone.
Okay, so someone says I've been rejected so many times for scholarships. How can I avoid being rejected for this particular scholarship? It's not a bad question. I like that question.
I feel like I'm being on. I'm thrown this spot. Okay, how do you? Okay, so I think number one thing is let's try to for this scholarship. Let's first know if this scholarship fits your own qualifications and your specifications, things that you really would, your strengths. Because really, I think that what most of us do, there are lots of scholarships out there, and one of the things that was an edge for me was because I really picked one that was my perfect fit, right? So it does not have to be your perfect fit, but at least let's first make sure that this particular scholarship is good for you, and then talk with people, speak with people at every step of it. The major thing is the essays, really. The major thing is your essays. So while you're writing these essays, make sure that you're in conversation with people that have done it before, or somebody that has experience about it, and just try. I really I don't think we should apply for scholarship with the mind of not being rejected. Like I cannot really say that you will not be rejected. Do you see? Like I really cannot say that this is what you do and then you never be rejected. But really, it's okay to try. It's not bad. Just, I really did not even expect that I was going to get it. I thought that it was for people that.
In hindsight, what do you think are the things that helped you to get it?
Number one, I was speaking with people. So I had like two alumni I was in conversation with, and when I send of course I try also to keep my ideas, right? I didn't get anybody's essay. What some people do is that you say, okay, send me your essays, so that I can no, I didn't do that. And I don't think it really helps people. I think like the best thing you should do is before you even read another person's essay, write yours first.
I didn't even read anybody's essays because what I noticed is that you start to write like them and then you lose your personality. I don't even advise people to read scholars' essays. The worst thing you can do is follow a template or follow something style. You have to stand out because chances that a lot of people will have read that essay. I didn't read any essays. The highest I did was speak to people, but I tried to even help somebody in that way. I gave the person my essays to read. The person forgot who they were and were just writing exactly like me. And I'm like, you lost this already because you're basically duplicating. Okay, so you said you spoke to people. That's one. What are the other things?
Yeah, I spoke to people. Then I tried to do a little bit. I tried to do a lot of research on what I'm going to do and what the entire program was about and all. And to be honest, that was it. Like that was it. Looking back, that was all I did.
And I just that those two things really helped you, research and speaking to people.
Yes, they helped me. And then of course, there's also this thing about, you are applying for a particular. I didn't really well. You're applying for a particular scholarship. Also do things that would help your. It's still the scholarship will be open when next year. Try to do things that would help your.
Exactly. Like I'm sure there are people that will be listening and be like, "Oh, it has closed" and all of that. But one thing
it's to be open next year now.
Most scholarships actually for this year start around. I think some are even open already, but I think Rhodes is open. I do have an interview about that on the channel. But then there are other scholarships. The Swedish Institute Scholarship is opening around August. There are scholarships that are going to open in September, October, November. The worst thing you can do is wait till that period to start preparing.
Yes.
What will you write in the essay? What you write in the essay, what you're currently doing
now.
So if you know that, I want to do Fulbright, I want you to be going to maybe
totally
fully funded. Maybe I should need to start doing some master classes. Maybe I should just go and do volunteer teaching. Maybe
you get it.
Start doing things now that can help you to get those scholarships that are about to open, not when the application some things I wrote in my essays, but things I don't see. So that's the advice I always give people. If you've done things great, just find a way to coin them. But if you've not, you have to use the next few months to do those things so that you can say them. Really. And I feel like even
you should pack all the children in your neighborhood and tutor them English. Help them.
You have to create something that you want to share, to be honest, because I feel like even the closer what you've done to the scholarship application, the better, really. Because some people even say things like, I did something 5 years ago. 5 years ago is a long time. What did you do last year? What did you do 2 years ago? What did you do 3 years ago? What did you do last month? So I really like
yes
as well.
And I think for me, like I also tried to make sure that everything that I had done, I was able to figure out how to make it relate. So at some point I was at Chocolate City. I was working at Chocolate City, so I took a break from teaching and I delved into entertainment proper. And I also found a way to talk about how that please this how that my knowledge of music and all of those things would help me as a methodology, a method to display my culture better. It also has to do with knowing how to. I really feel I find it difficult I think that people are always doing stuff, right? Everybody is doing stuff. You might just not think that it is important enough.
Exactly. That's another thing that
but you just must have to find a way to bring out the juice in whatever
every single thing that you're doing can be turned into something that will be useful for a scholarship application. There was something I was applying for. It wasn't even a scholarship. It was something that required me to speak to people, like kind of like a marketing ambassador role. My first degree is in history and international relations. Like I always thought history, what will I use it to do? But because it's history and international relations, my experience of world cultures, obviously there's a way I can tell that story that, I'm passionate about interacting across cultures, learning about these things. And because I know something about a lot of other things, I wouldn't be caught unaware because I already have that background. But that's how I was able to use that experience to my advantage. So I'm sure whatever course you studied, even if you didn't study a language course, whatever experiences you have, there's something in it that you can coin. To sound, not even to lie. You just think about what you're
doing. Yes.
Way. It's not even like, because that's another reason why we're even saying you should do them now, because the worst thing I will even tell anybody to do is lie. Like,
it's like,
it's going to end well. Let me just tell you, it's going to end in premium.
It's going to end in tears.
It's going to end in tears. That's because the way they will drill you said, you will not know when you will lie. The lie will not make sense. Because I remember my interview, I got a lot of follow-up questions, and if I was lying, that would have been it. And even lying to get something, and when you get there, you're going to fumble.
Yes.
If I didn't have experience in my industry, the course I'm doing right now, it would have ended up in premium tiers. So work on, if you even need to build yourself to be prepared for this opportunity, if you feel like this is related to who you are or what you want to do, I feel like you should do it.
Okay. Yes. And I also feel like, because, in Nigeria, teaching is underrated, so to speak. So a lot of people that even really want to teach don't want to do it, because you'll be like, what are you using your first class to do? Are you joking?
Please, that $1,000 and $1,300 ahead, please. There are different kinds of that we are doing here. Please, it's not the same one. Please, it's not that is not teaching. That's high class teaching.
Subscribe to AFS Stories.
Well, yes, it is, but I'm just saying that this kind of just encourages you, and just think about that. I can teach and make it in this life. I beg you. I can do it.
I feel like the reason why a lot of people run away from teaching is because a lot of places don't pay as good as they should, to be honest.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
Places don't pay.
Teaching abroad is different from teaching in certain countries. Let's be very honest.
And I also feel that getting that this kind of experience gives you an edge. So you cannot, after you've taught there, you cannot come back. Let's even assume you want to come back. You cannot come back, or after you've come back, you cannot come back and then you go back. It's not the same. Now you're exposed. You can stand in some places and you can say you have this and this experience. You can come back and say, I thought that you, oh yeah, now give me
bragging rights. I'm sure lots of people that will not come back. But anyways, so let's just go to the next question. So obviously, research, speaking to alumni, bringing in your own difference, doing things that are in alignment, rethinking your experiences are the kind of things that you believe helped you.
Yes,
I'd like to write on that as well, because you mentioned that you spoke to a Fulbright scholar that was Hindi, and I'm sure you've met other Fulbright scholars. So what would you say is something common, a common characteristics that a lot of Fulbright scholars have, and maybe you are seeing that is recurrent, and something that people that are aspiring to get it can try to think about how they can embody those features?
So, first of all, I think that they are doers. Like, they really are passionate about doing something, and they get it done. And I also noticed that, okay, for instance, Abike Dabiri was a Fulbright scholar. Who else? Atayiru Jega was a Fulbright scholar. Jega was
Jega. I did not hear what you said. Don't worry. I know Jega is okay. Who is the other person?
Abike Dabiri.
The person that was the what they call that thing that was involved in, is it INEC or something? The electoral.
Yes, that. Then Ambode as well. I got to know that Ambode was also a Fulbright scholar.
Are you serious?
And
the former Lagos State. That's lit, actually. Okay, so
I think the network, so that particular alumni association also really helps a lot. So after you are done with the whole Fulbright thing, you are entitled to that particular cohort, and then you can get opportunities, or probably, and I'm not saying this for you to be opportunistic necessarily.
Exactly, because now some people will be like, well, I don't care, let me just go.
I'm not saying it's going to be, but I'm just saying that one of the things that we do not have in Nigeria is that you have all these dreams, but you don't have the channel to express yourself. And I'm saying that this can be a channel. So you have a you have a project you want to execute, you can talk to somebody that can help you talk to somebody already, just because you are a Fulbright, alumni. That.
So that's really cool, actually. This accounting should have been saying in the beginning when I was saying you should market the scholarship to us. You know,
sorry, maybe you should find a way.
These are the juicy things I was asking you about, sister. That's what I was asking you. Exactly. Like, this is what you should have told us since. You know, that's what we're trying to. Anyways, someone says, how are you able to handle the anxious question of what if I fail? So what if I get rejected?
You mean while I was applying or while I was working? Because that's another thing.
While you were applying?
Oh, while I was applying. Okay, so now I don't know if I mentioned the fact that it took me 3 years to apply for this scholarship, for this entire thing. 3 years.
Wow.
And it was all because I didn't think that I was going to get it. I just felt like
it took you 3 years to actually apply, not that you were
applying
for 3 years. Okay.
No, I didn't apply.
I thought you were applying and rejected,
No, not that. Yes. I applied once and I got it once. But it took me 3 years because
don't say you applied once and you got it once.
Yes, I applied once.
I've held that.
I'm saying it took me 3 years mentally to say, okay, just
worried. Exactly.
Yes.
Many people don't apply for this thing.
Yes, I was worried. I mean, I could see why every other person was special, but I could not even just see why I was special or why I deserved to have the scholarship. So really, what I told myself was that what's the worst that could happen if I send this application? They'll just say we apologize or sorry. Okay, that's the worst.
To inform you.
I mean, we regret to inform you, you know. But I mean, I had to get to a point where I told myself that I could live with trying and failing, but I really could not live with not trying at all and not knowing if I could get it. And to be honest, I think we all need to get to that point, and the earlier the better. Because I mean,
even after you get rejected as well, I feel like it's very important that you still try again. Just yes or no. I know how hard it is. Like I always say on my channel, like the first time I applied for children, I got rejected, and the second time I applied 2 weeks, 3 weeks to the deadline because of this thing. I was like, well, every time I open the application, I'll be like, hey, I remember the regret to inform me. I just closed it. But imagine I didn't apply again. Do you understand? So it was my friends and my close friends that were always telling me, what's the worst that will happen? They will tell you no and you apply again. There was also someone I met that applied 4 times. But I feel like until you get to that point where you see that, whether you apply or you don't apply, the same result is either you get it or you don't get it. And and you move on to the next thing or you apply again.
Exactly.
I feel like we attach too much self-worth to it, and that's a problem. Like we feel like if we get it or we don't get it, it determines our future.
How amazing you truly are.
How amazing we are. And you just need to realize that it's external of you. It's just something. It's just something you apply. Yeah, it's something big, to be honest. You get to travel abroad fully funded, yes. But it doesn't mean that if you don't get it now, you're not getting the next one. Or if this one does not give you, another one will not give you. That's just my own. I feel like once you get to that point where you see it as a tool for you to get to where you want to be, I feel like it will be easier.
Yes.
See you now, 3 years. What happened?
I mean, I was just the Fulbright alumni that I knew kept saying, Kilo share, you can do this. We know it. I'll be like, you don't understand. And the another part of it was when I started the essay, at some point I was having blocks, like
exactly.
I was just like, what do I write now?
Exactly.
Like what am I write? Or when I was even done, or when I wrote the first draft, I'm like, what is this that you have written?
You like, it doesn't make sense.
What is this? How does this even make sense to even you? I mean, but you know, at the point that I was sending, I realized I actually felt truly relieved. To use like every year after the application closes, I'm like, could have, after the application closes, I will not start telling myself you could have applied. You could have applied. But when I sent the application, I truly felt relieved. Like I felt like, at least now you have done this. Don't worry. Whatever it is their own business now. You are done. You've done your part. And to be honest, it's okay.
Okay, so what made you apply the third year exactly? What was that push?
I told you that I had to decide that. Of course, I
What
wanted
made
this.
you decide? Like, what is that? I'm trying to quantify it into something. I don't know, because if you say I decided, there has to be have been something, an event, or you just got to that point where you were tired of just not applying.
Yes, I think I got to that point where I was tired of not just applying. Then I think that I also gave myself, prior to that time, that year, beginning of that year, so which I do, I tell myself that I would apply almost every other year. I tell myself this year I'm going to apply. But this time around, I told my friends, I said, see, you guys must make sure I apply for this thing this year. Like, by all means, I had an accountability partner. And that might be going too hard, but that was what
it's very important, to be honest.
I had an accountability partner because at different points while I was applying, I wanted to give up, right? And this person is saying, oh yeah, now where is the essay? Where is the first essay? Where is the second essay? Your second essay is due tomorrow. Hope you've not forgotten, And then those things just made me, even while I was writing them, it just made me say
parts of other aspirants as well.
I didn't even do that. But that particular alumni that I told you about was really, really doing that. Your second essay is due tomorrow. Yeah, send it to me. I'm waiting. Your third essay, and even if I didn't know what to write, I just told myself that you're going to finish this essay, whether you like it or not. Just finish it and send it. And so by the time I was done with the first draft, I was more confident that okay, you can really still do this. And then I think having accountability partners would do you great good, a lot of good.
Okay, someone says, do I need some sort of social media presence to qualify?
Sorry, do you understand that question?
Someone says, maybe the person is saying that, do they check your social media or to vet you?
Oh no, I'm sure, I don't think they do. It might be a plus, but it's not, it doesn't, because I have this, so when I meet people, usually I try to check their social media platforms and see what they are doing or what they are about and all. And I noticed that for some of these Fulbright scholars, most of them do not really have so much going. They are just, academics can.
Social media really counts, except you are applying for digital marketing or you use it in your essay. Because I know even, or you use it in your essay or something. So I feel like it's only if you reference or if it's a plus, but I don't think it's minus from you. Someone says, do I need references from university lecturers or higher professionals? That's a good question. Yes,
you do. You do. I don't know how I skipped that. So with the application, while you upload your your transcript and all, you need 3 references, right? You need 3 references, and it doesn't have to be. So for myself, I used 2 of my lecturers and one of my bosses as one of the schools that I thought.
What if you don't want to use lecturer? Like, not everybody has relationship with their lecturer in school.
I know. See, but the truth about it is that it is really, it is important. Find a way.
Okay. Wow.
When I was applying for some of these things, I had to be humble because Nigerian lecturers can be a lot to deal with. They can be a lot to deal with, and sometimes you just have to I reached out to like probably 4 or 5, and 2 eventually, or 3 agreed, but I eventually used 2, right? And then I used I just decided to have someone that could comment on my, professional prowess as such.
Okay. I'm trying to see the other question. Can someone with an HND apply?
Oh, yes. But in fact, people that went to colleges of education apply.
Okay, that's good then. Someone is saying, how can I apply for a job in schools like that? But I think the person missed it. The person must have thought maybe it's separate application. I think you've explained all of that already, so I feel like I've answered your question. Someone said, I studied French language. Can I get this scholarship?
So I wish this person, I wish I really I'm speaking with this person well, because I know with French in Nigeria, there's a lot, there are other things like you doing, what's it called?
The person might not be in Nigeria, no, that's another thing. But you can
Oh,
talk about from
so
Nigeria.
if the person is not a Nigerian, so it depends on your own indigenous language and what. Though English might be a plus. Why? Because you are going to an English speaking country, so they already can establish the fact that you can communicate well, right? But I think you can apply, because some people actually study Yoruba, study some other languages, and they actually applied and got scholarship. So depending on the country that you are in and all, you can apply. I mean, just try. You can apply. And that French, I don't know if it's like a linguistic course, like if it's under linguistics or it's just French foreign language. I really do not know, because languages can be a bit tricky.
Okay, so the final question, if you guys have any final questions, you can just drop it. But I just have one more question here, and the person says, is it possible to stay back in the USA after you're done with your scholarship? I think you mentioned something about graduate assistantship, or is there a process? Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so let me say this. There is, just like Chimney, right? There is, you have to return to Nigeria for 2 years.
Whoa.
A cumulative 2 years. Do you understand what I mean by a cumulative 2 years? So if you can go back to the US, if you probably have maybe you have to study or something, but you cannot go back to the US as an immigrant. You can go to any other country. You can go back to study. But for every time you come back to Nigeria, your 2 years is counting. So even if you use 6 months this time around and you travel to another country, it's okay.
That's
you come back.
Evening.
Yes, it is.
Today is the 2 years.
Yes, I know.
2 years.
Yeah.
That's actually different. That feels flexible, actually.
Yes, it is flexible. So if you get another scholarship, you need to do something else. You can travel. You can even travel back to the US, but you cannot travel back to the US as an immigrant. Just to the US as an immigrant, but you can travel to any other country. Yes.
Nigeria, okay.
Until you spend 2 years in Nigeria, cumulatively or at a go.
That's fine. I think that's all the questions I have yet. Guys, do we have any other questions? Because we've had our guests for well over almost 1 hour, 30 minutes. Like,
what?
Yes. Listening to you, just giving us all the vibes. Do you guys have any final questions? Let me just see if I have one more question. Okay, I would like you to give like a final word, and it kind of relates to a question that someone has asked here. So what would be your advice to someone that wants to do it right, fast, and the smart way? So someone that wants to apply for the scholarship in the right way, the smart way, and a way that they can apply the first time and get it like you, because you applied the first time and you got it. So that will be our closing words for today.
So I'm trying to put my thoughts together. They are like everywhere. Come. Okay, so I think it's a summary of everything that we have said, really. If you want to really apply right and apply first time and get it. So I think it's a summary of everything that we have said. First off, start doing the things that would help boost, your eligibility for this particular scholarship. Start doing it.
Scholarship, to be honest.
I mean, start now. Do stuff. This one opens in January and still closes
like 6 months to do everything.
Yes, you have like probably 6 months. So do something. Try to. And another thing is start learning. Get a network of people that probably have done it and have gotten it.
True.
Try to just so that, because there are lots of things, because I probably will not be able to say now because you're just asking me questions, and probably these things are not even peculiar to you, right? Or to whoever is applying. Try to reach out to them check LinkedIn and try to fish them out. They don't have to be a lot.
And reach out to her as well, guys. What is your social media handle? Because I'm sure they want to listen to you too. I think your social media handle is Feyi Shoeton.
Yes, Feyi Shoeton.
Let me just see it then.
Yeah, so
keep talking. Okay,
yes, you can reach out to people that have, done it and have gotten it, so that they can help guide you, right? So that they can help guide you through the process and just, help you and all of that. Then please try to write the best. Use the tips that we talked about with these essays. I don't think they are too, I don't think they're even difficult at all. Try to, and make sure that you find somebody to read it for you. I know you're a pro. I know that you're so good. I know that you're an authority. But really,
guys, don't do that.
He doesn't cut it, What did you say?
I said don't do overconfidence. Even if it's your friend that will read it. My friends read my essays and my dad. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes some things sound perfect in your head until somebody else reads it.
True.
You have an idea you want to tell in your head, but there's a probability that you're not communicating it well in what you've written. Even for writers, you still have to read your work again, so get people to read it. I like that.
So yes, please get people to proofread your essay and all. And for the Fulbright essay, for the Fulbright grant and the scholarship, really, I think that the crux of your thing is the essays. But once you really pass, once you leave that particular stage, you are almost good to go. Then get good people to recommend you. We have 6 months now. Start looking for people that can help your life. I know. For instance, in Nigeria, I think UI has like a whole system for this particular scholarship. Like they have a system. No jokes. Like they have a system. Like they have people. They groom people. They tell people about it. And a school like that, they already have people that can just write recommendation letters for them already. But all your lecturers that have tried to buy them sweets now or buy them wine now, just I don't know whatever they like. I mean, somebody that you really think that can write well for you, that probably has the pedigree and can write well. Somebody like that. Find those people now. It's easier when you're doing it bit by bit and you're not overwhelmed by the entire work and you're not overwhelmed by the imminent approaching deadline and you're thinking that deadline is probably next month. Now you can even start preparing for the application now. And then you are, by the time you are applying, it's all easy for you. It's all good and easy for you. Of course, TOEFL is another conversation. It's aside because you can even do your TOEFL if you think you have the money.
If you get the scholarship and let them pay, I beg. Thank you.
And you think you have the money.
Please, though, the scholarship will pay for your TOEFL. Don't listen.
They will actually pay.
Yes.
That's the truth about it. They'll pay.
They'll
give you a voucher.
Like telling people to go and pay for visa when there's free money.
It's one of the sweetest part of it. And just study well. I believe that TOEFL is not really hard to. It's not. If you can speak the language, to be honest, I think you can pass TOEFL. It's not so. I don't even think it's as difficult as IELTS. Yes. I don't think.
IELTS, thank God. So I don't know.
Oh, you did right.
Oh yeah. Our thanks to COVID. Anyway, thank you so much for today. I learned a whole lot from you. Like, it's been so amazing, and I've learned a whole lot about Fulbright. I've been saying Fulbright, but I just never knew what it was about. I just knew that it was competitive, it's prestigious, and I knew that it was related to the USA, but I just didn't know all of this. But it's good to hear that it's an opportunity for you to teach, to learn, to interact. And
then there are other opportunities too that Fulbright offer. I should mention that, which is very, very important. And if you think that, if you think that you have found an opportunity that fits you and it is not this, you can also reach out. I might be able to find, because we have orientations together with other.
Sorry, I forgot to mention that as well. So there are different Fulbright opportunities. Mm-hmm. So there are different types. So she said there's research, there's language. So all you just have to do is go onto their website and check out the different opportunities and see the one that fits you, or you can reach out to her directly or reach out to me, really. Anyways, thank you so much for today. Thank you guys for staying up to this point. We had so much fun listening to you. Like I always say, you should visit my YouTube channel, youtube.com/AFM stories. This recording is going to be up on it for you to reflect and learn. I feel like watching also helps with retention. And then there are other interviews with other scholars as well, from Sweden to Rhodes to USA graduate assistantship to Commonwealth to MasterCard to Chevening. I won the Chevening scholarship, and I have like about 18 videos on the Chevening scholarship alone. But I have interviews with different scholars as well. So beyond it's good for you to try out this, but I always say that try as many opportunities as possible, or opportunities that are in alignment with you. So explore the Fulbright websites, see how the opportunities align with you, see how you can build up yourself, and I know that you'll be able to get a scholarship. The fact that you're here already shows your interest, it already shows that you're driven and you are ready to do what it takes. Not many people would even accept seminars like this, but the fact that you're here shows that you're a fighter. So check out the resources and follow the both of us as well. I've already dropped our social media handle. My social media handle is AFM Studio. My YouTube is where all the information is. Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.